The Google Analytics All Pages Report. The All Pages Report gives us key metrics for the top pages on our website. To access this report, you want to go left nav, behavior, site content, and all pages. So in our sample site, let's look at the All Pages Report. Down the left-hand column, we get a list of the top pages. It's by default sorted in order of the number of page views they've had. And on top, we see the home page, which has about 1,183 page views. The next metric we see is unique page views, 948, and this is an indicator of how many unique people viewed our home page. And on average, we know that about people who view the home page spend about 1 minute on there. About 912 people entered via the home page, and that is the entrances metric. The bounce rate on the home page was 45.94%, and bounce rate is a measure of how many people landed on the home page and immediately left. The exit rate was 44.8%, and this is a percentage based on, of the people who saw the home page, how many left from the home page as opposed to leaving from other pages. And lastly, the estimated page value, which is a metric Google comes up with, which is based on users who have viewed the home page but also spent money. There are a few key things to look at on this report. First, we want to understand what pages are the most common. So in our particular example, we can see that pages which include the home page, the shopping cart, one of our more popular product categories appears here. The main shop page appears here. This is actually an affiliate landing page here. So we want to get a feeling for what the most popular pages are, and not just the top 5, but it can go well beyond that, on that depending on the site of your size. Or the size of your site. And some of the other key metrics that we do want to look at is how much time people spend on a page. We want to look at the bounce rate of pages, so we do want to keep an eye on certain pages and identify if they have higher bounce rates. Maybe there are things we can do to lower these. Again, bounce rates don't happen in a vacuum, so it may be the traffic source that's driving that, or some other factor, but it is basically a starting point for us to start researching. And then just getting a general idea for the page value. So if you don't have an e-commerce site, you probably aren't going to have a page value unless you've assigned a monetary value to your goals. But what this does give us a general idea is people passing through this page, how much money do they spend, so we can get an idea of what some of the more important site sections are. Content Drill Down Report. The Content Drill Down Report gives us a view of our website by section. To access this report, we want to go to Behavior, Site Content, and Content Drill Down. So the goal of the Content Drill Down Report is to really assign value and give stats on specific sections of your website. And by sections, that's basically broken down into subfolders. So in our particular website, we're a shopping website, we have a number of pages which fall under the product category folder. So these would be all of our category pages. We also have a number of pages which fall under our product folder, and these would be the specific products themselves. There are also a number of pages that fall into the shopping cart or affiliates, and the list goes on. So what this report is trying to do is give us a feeling for what site sections are the most popular and sort of provide that roll-up view of each site section to give us an idea of how effective each section are. Now, in many cases, this isn't particularly useful or actionable, but it does give us a general idea, especially on very large websites, as to which sections are the most popular and which ones are critical, and maybe if we are planning some website revamps or improvements, where to focus. This is actually called the Content Drill Down Report because we can drill down. So if I want to look at specifics related to the product category section of my site, I simply click on that link, and that'll drill me down into the actual categories themselves. So this would be like the next level. In this particular example, maybe I'll drill into mineral foundations because I want to look at how this section is trafficked. And then within here, I have actually light shades, medium shades, and dark shades, and so on. So I can continue to really drill down here. And you can imagine on a very large website, this actually can be very useful because we could drill down, 10 or 20 times and get, very granular into different sections of the website. Landing pages. The landing page report highlight the top landing pages on our website and some of the key metrics. To access this report, you want to go left nav, behavior, site content, and then landing pages. In looking at the landing page report down the left column, we see landing pages ordered by the number of sessions. We can see that the home page is the top landing page, an affiliate landing page is another one, the shop page is a top landing page. some product pages down here, some category pages. So you see a variety of different pages on this report. And then we can see the number of sessions from each. So we know the home page, about 912 landings, and about 806 unique people landing there. When we look at the bounce rate of the home page, we can see that it's about 45.94%, which is actually pretty high. The pages per session, so this is going to answer the question of people who land on the home page, how many pages a session, 3.83, and how long does their session last on average. So this is important to look at because we can compare maybe the home page if somebody lands there, how long do they stay on the site compared to maybe somebody who comes in on the shop page. On the shop page they spend roughly twice that much, or a specific product page they may spend as much as 7 minutes. So this is a comparison tool that we can analyze that, and we can also look at general things like transactions. So people who land on the home page, about 12 transactions and about $583 in revenue, and then we get a rough e-commerce conversion rate. So some of the top uses for this are obviously to identify things like bounce rates. We want to look at really high bounce rates. As we've said several times in the past, it doesn't mean the landing page is bad, but we do want to analyze landing pages that do have high bounce rates to see if there's actions we can take to improve that. We want to look at landing pages that are outliers, so those who have very high number of page views per session. Maybe we'll look at some of these different product pages. This is our about page. Really think through why it is that people would stay so much longer than the average, and vice versa, those that are below. So the home page tends to be one where the pages a session aren't that high and the bounce rate's kind of high. So maybe there's some things in the home page we can do to remedy that. So it's a really great report, a really great starting point to analyze the different content and when people land on it. In some cases you will see outliers where the bounce rate is literally in the 80 and 90% range, and those are it's a great report for that, where you can just kind of hop in and do some more research. Exit pages. The exit page report gives us a view of the top pages from which people leave our website. To access this report, we're going to go left nav, behavior, site content, and then exit pages. In this report, we get a list of our pages down the left-hand column, and we get some stats such as the number of exits, the number of page views, and the exit percentage. So let's look at the home page. The home page, we saw about 530 exits and about 1,100 page views, which meant that our exit percentage was about 44.8% on that. As we go down the list, we're going to get some of the other top pages from which people exit. What we use this report are for a few things, basically. The first is let's identify pages that that people often exit from to see if there's something we can do about it. We need to bear in mind that users who visit a page most often tend to exit that page the most often as well, just because there's higher volume. But we do want to keep an eye out for pages that maybe we don't feel like people should be exiting from. So let's take a look at a page like our cart, for example. We happen to know that from the programming of this website, when they're on this particular page, if they're leaving, that means they're abandoning a cart. So we may want to look at some different ways that we can prevent people from leaving at that point. In this particular case, we do have 68 exits there, which seems kind of high, but as a percentage, it's actually very small. It does mean that most people are actually getting through at least that particular page. So again, we want to look for pages that have, a lot of exits that we really don't want to. There's a couple of things we want to keep in mind here as far as critical thinking goes. We want to recognize that some pages should be exited from. So some examples of that would be if you use a squeeze style landing page, for example. And this would be a landing page where you essentially bring a user to your website and want them to complete a goal, such as filling out a form or making a phone call. And then the only choice you're going to give them, though, is really to either fill out that form or leave the website. So in that particular case, you're going to have a lot of exits on that page. Another example would be like your checkout page. So in our example website, I'm just going to set a filter here to show the checkout pages. And what we can see on these, if you kind of look at the structure of these, you can tell that each order, once it gets received, looks very similar, but the URL is actually different because it's got an order ID in it. But we look at the exit percentage on these pages, and it's close to 100%. So we're not necessarily going to freak out because at that point we've got the transaction. It's not as though we want to completely ignore it either. We may want to have a checkout thank you page that is sticky and tries to drive them to do something else because we do have some opportunity here. But it is something to keep in mind that we're not really that worried because we'd expect this page to have a high exit rate. Some other examples might be if you get somebody to, sign up and download a specific PDF or something like that, they may just tend to leave because the goal has been accomplished.